What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I have missed you guys so much. It's been a minute. I think it's been like almost a month and a half, which is bad on my part. Bad Jasmine. My dad literally texted me like probably a week ago and was like, Jasmine, you haven't posted a YouTube video in a while. Where are you? Which I'm thankful for his support and staying on top of me, but I needed to step back, take a break, get my creative juices flowing, but I'm back. So glad to be here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know if you're new. I would love to say hi and get to know you. But enough blabbing. Let's get right into the story time of literally how I lost my wedding venue. Okay, where do I start? So I'll just cut to the chase. Okay, so I am at work, okay, doing my work, whatever. It's the end of the day, so I'm about to leave out, check my email, and I'm looking down and I'm like, yeah, okay, check your email. And then I get an email from my venue and I'm like, okay, that's weird. Like I've never gotten an email from them before, but whatever. Literally open up the email and it says, I'll probably put like a little picture here, but essentially it literally says like, due to a highway expansion project going on in the town that my venue is in, half of my venue is going to be demolished and construction trucks are going to be permanently parked there for many years to come because of this highway expansion project. Therefore, effective immediately, aka December 2020, you can no longer have your wedding here nor anyone else December on. What? Like it was, I can't even describe the feeling. Like at first, you know, you go through the thoughts of like, okay, is this actually happening? Okay, this is actually happening. Oh crap, this is actually happening. And so like my mind's like going. And I'm not gonna lie, like I was pretty stressed out. But in that moment I had to pause, and I never do this, but I had to pause and I was like, okay, I can either stress out and freak out and have a meltdown, or I can take a deep breath. Okay, this is happening, put my head down, get to work, and try to find a new venue. So I chose that route, which is amazing because if anyone knows me in the past, like I would literally have a meltdown, literally be crying on the floor, balled up, whatever. And if that's your reaction, like that is totally fine. Like I'm not discrediting that, but at the same time, as I'm getting older, I'm learning to, one, most importantly, trust in God's plan. And obviously, if my venue fell through, there's a reason for that. But also just to not like freak out immediately. Slow things down, look at my breathing, figure out what's going on in my body, what are my feelings. And then, you know, if I have to have a cry session or two here and there, that's fine. But really reacting in a peaceful way so that I can move forward in the most peaceful way possible. So anyway, so that happened. And so literally I call Reggie. I called him. He sent me the voicemail. So I'm like, I'm just trying to freaking call someone. I call my mom, voicemail. Dad, voicemail. So I'm like, look, I'm just trying to let someone know that my venue blew up in my face. And so finally I get, you know, I call Reggie back and I'm like, hey, like we don't have a venue anymore. And I love him so much. And this is why we compliment each other so well, because his response was basically like, okay, wow, that's crazy. Like, well, we're just gonna have to figure it out and do what we have to do, whatever. He's like so calm and he keeps me so sane, and I'm so blessed and thankful for that. Anywho, so I call Reggie, and then I call my mom, and my mom's like, wait. She's like, what? That was literally her response. She's like, what? Are you serious? And I was like, I am very serious. And so she's like, you're gonna make me have a drink, which is so funny. And so that was just, it was wild. So I told my parents, I told my dad. Of course, my dad is kind of like Reggie. He's, you know, he's like, you know, wow, that's crazy, but you're gonna find a venue. You know, he keeps things even kiltered. Me and my mom are kind of like, the what? So immediately, like the next day, I am emailing all of our vendors, kind of like, hey, I don't know what's about to happen, because the biggest issue is like with the pandemic, a lot of 2020 brides have pushed their weddings out to 2021. Another issue is April is like one of the most popular wedding months ever. And so it just brings about a lot of challenges when it comes to finding our exact date. So our exact date was April 24th. So we were kind of looking for that. Another big hurdle that we had to overcome when looking for a new venue was a lot of venues have preferred vendor lists. So we would get to a venue and be like, hey, our venue is literally, half of it is being demolished and we can't have our wedding there, but we have a caterer, bar service, DJ, etc. And they're like, oh, sorry, you have to use our preferred vendor list, which I get it because you want to use people that you trust, but at the same time, we've been in contract with the caterer, bar service, all these people for over 6 months. So it just wasn't an option to just kind of leave them to the wayside and break our contract with them. So anyway, so we're like searching. Literally our saving grace, Cassidy, who is our videographer and a friend of mine, she helped so much. Like all of our vendors did, but she helped so much. Immediately, like she emailed me back. She was like, hey, here's some venues that I love. Here's some venues that I've shot at before. She was also telling me about this Facebook group that has like over 8,000 members that has like brides and vendors and all this stuff. And you can basically like put a post up there and be like, hey, you know, like my venue is like no longer existing. I need a new venue. Is there a venue out there who can take me on this date? So she invited me to that group. And so I went a part of that group. And then literally like my caterer is the sweetest lady ever. And basically we were like, there's a potential that we would have to like change our date, yada, yada. And she was like, okay, I'll temporarily put you down for this other date, even though you haven't signed for it yet, but I want to like make sure that you're good. And everyone sent suggestions. So our vendors were absolutely amazing. And in the process, I'm just praying. I'm like, okay, God, you're in control. Help me figure this out. And there were moments where I was like, okay, I got this. I'm cool. And then there were moments where I was like, oh shoot, is this like gonna be okay? Is this gonna work out? Am I gonna get married? You know, like not, am I gonna get married? But basically because the venue is like the most important part, or one of the most important parts. So anyway, so I was freaking out at moments too. So I was just praying a lot. I was like, Lord, you're in control, like you're in control. I'm trusting in that, and I just need you to give me clarity on which venue to choose. So that happened on a Thursday. The next week we had a venue tour scheduled, and then on that Thursday, and then on that Sunday we had another virtual venue tour scheduled. The first venue we loved. Cassidy recommended it. A bunch of our other vendors recommended it. The only issue is they had April 17th available and not April 24th. And here's another weird thing. All of the venues that we inquired of, they would be like, yeah, we don't have April 24th, but we have April 17th. And I'm like, what's up with April 17th? And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, God, like, are you trying to tell me something? April 17th, okay. So we move on, right? I'm rambling, but we move on and we go on the venue tour. Like all day I'm praying, I'm like anxious, I'm excited because I'm like, okay, Lord, like this one has to come through, because at this point we only had 2 options, just again, because of the challenges of us already having other vendors and bringing in people and our date and whatever. So we really like this venue. We get there and, you know, Reggie looks at the outside. He's like, okay, I'll give it like a 6. And so I'm like, oh Lord, because I love it. So I'm a very quick decision maker. Reggie is not. He's a little bit slower, but me, I'm like, if I'm like, I'm like, boom, let's go, especially in a moment of crisis. But anyway, so we get there, he's like, it's a 6. And we probably get there at like, I think the tour was at 3:30. So we got there at 3:30, we're waiting. Now at this point, it's like 3:40, 3:42 or something like that. And Reggie is starting to get kind of annoyed, which understandable. But he was just like, the lady who was supposed to give us a tour had 2 people in there. And so they were still in there and I'm like, dude, what's the point of having an appointment if you're just like gonna be late? But me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give her grace, like it's fine. And so literally by 3:45, 15 minutes later, Reggie's not very happy at this point. I'm like freaking out on the inside because I'm like, this was my only chance and I need this venue to work out. So we go inside, it looks beautiful. We sit down, talk numbers, time frame, stuff like that. And so, you know, while she's talking, I'm listening, but I'm also praying like, Lord, you know, give me clarity, give me clarity. At this point, this venue is probably $1,800 less than our original venue. So that was pretty good going for them, but we were hoping to pay even less. But anyways, so I'm just like, okay, Lord, like you're in control. I kid you not, guys. literally, when she's talking, she's like, oh yeah, and by the way, since you're booking like in the same year basically that your wedding is, you guys get 30% off of your venue. And I'm like, I don't even know if the lady could see, but I'm like in my seat like, oh my gosh. And also in my head, I'm trying not to like freak out because I'm like giving, you know, God like a fist bump, like, I was so hyped because I'm like, Lord, that's your clarity right there. Once she said that, Reggie was like, and my parents were like locked in. They're like, okay, you have our attention now. 30% off. Insane. So we tour it. It's absolutely beautiful. It's created by 2 wedding planners. So like everything you could think of that a bride could want in a venue, it's there. They have like, if it rains, they have rain options. They have a beautiful bridal suite and a groomsmen suite and like a beautiful outside terrace area. It's just literally such a dream. Like the floors were like herringbone, whatever pattern. It was amazing. So the price was amazing. Inside looked amazing. And at this point I'm sold because then I'm praying. I'm like, okay, Lord, like I feel really good about this. I feel like I have a bunch of clarity. Like you said the price is 30% off. Like clearly this is why you want us to come here. So then the tour's over, you know, and I'm in my head, I'm like sold. But I just wanted to talk to Reggie about it. And, you know, I was like, Reggie, what do you think? Like, do you like it? Talking to my parents about it. And Reggie was blown away. Like at first he was upset and like because she was late and wasn't really knowing if he was feeling it, but after the tour, after knowing the price, after all of that stuff, and she was super apologetic, by the way, but after knowing all that stuff, literally, he was like, yeah, I'm sold. Like, I'm sold. This is it. And we told my parents, and literally before the girl could walk off, we were like, yeah, we're gonna sign with you, so, you know, like, we're gonna be hitting you up, so just look out for an email for us. And since then, like, we now have a venue. So we found out our venue was being partially demolished and we didn't have a venue on Thursday. I kid you not, a week later, that next Thursday, we signed with that venue. And then, so, well, okay, backtrack. So we didn't sign with them yet because obviously we had to see if our vendors were good to go as far as like our caterer, our DJ, or my makeup artist, videographer, photographer, just like so many people that we booked. A date change. Our date is now April 17th. So a date change is a huge deal. So we were kind of holding our breath like, okay, are our vendors gonna be available for this? So we contacted all of them. Literally, I kid you not, every single vendor, it was available on April 17th, completely wide open. And I'm just like, okay, Lord, I hear you. And then that's when we decided to sign. So it was just such a crazy turn of events. It was stressful. I was freaking out. And also trusting God in the process. And I think those two can coexist. But I am just so blown away at God's faithfulness and the way he came through and the way he aligned things. And clearly he wants us to get married a week earlier. Hey, so I'm excited about that. Now we're getting married on April 17th. All of our friends and family know, everyone's on board. And actually what's crazy is once we sent out the second save the date, more people RSVP'd after that than our first original date of the save the date, which is hilarious. So we're pumped. Now we're rocking and rolling, trying to find like a wedding day of coordinator and our flowers, and our decorations and our cake and stuff like that. But things are coming together and it was a wild ride. But I just say all that to say God is faithful, even in those moments where it's a sharp left turn and you're like, God, what are you doing? He has something greater in store. He always does. And so I just wanted to tell this story to encourage you that if you're in a season of your life, whether it's wedding planning and it's hectic because of COVID, or just a job change or looking for a job or whatever, God will come through in his perfect timing at the right time for the exact door that needs to be opened and the other doors that need to be closed. So trust in him, take a deep breath, choose peace today, choose to rest in his presence, and he'll work it all out. So guys, with that, that is my fun story time about my venue being demolished. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I want to do more of these, but I'm back. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm actually going to be posting twice a week now. I'm saying that out loud so I can stay committed to it, but I'm pushing myself to post twice a week. I don't know if it'll be on exact days, but I do know that it will be twice a week. I'm thinking Tuesday and Thursday, but we'll see. It might fluctuate, but anyways, I'm rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so, so much. Can't wait to see you in my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below any of my brides out there. If you guys are having some trouble with just like COVID and planning, I'd love to encourage you in any way I can, connect you with people that I know. We're in this together, we got this, but I love you guys, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.